Hi, everyone. Welcome to the How We Hustle podcast.
I'm Mike.
And I'm Tanya. And we invite you to join us in our unfiltered conversation about the real life hustle of being an entrepreneur. For more information about the podcast, check out howwehustlepodcast.com.
Make sure to check us out on Instagram at How We Hustle Podcast. You'll find information on new episodes as well as notable quotes from the episodes we do. So come check us out at How We Hustle Podcast on Instagram.
Something I do, I just turned 36. Something I do a lot is compare myself to other people and who are my age or around my age and like see what they've accomplished in their life. And they're not entrepreneurs, like corporate types. I don't even want to pigeonhole by saying corporate types because that's not, but just people who have, instead of just like worked for themselves since the beginning, gotten jobs and grown with those jobs and like found opportunities within those streams and follow those opportunities and like gotten up every morning at 7 a.m. for the last 15 years. Like, honestly, part of me like wonders if I should have done that and wonders if I could have reached much higher levels of success had I just played the game that way and not necessarily, maybe I've just been selfish or lazy. Or because I'm like, I don't want to like get up every morning at 6:30 a.m. So I'm just going to start my own company. And, but ultimately, if I look back on the last 15 years and like my productive output, if you will, and like even where I'm at now, I live in a small 1-bedroom condo downtown Toronto. Maybe if I had done it the other way, I could have a house with a yard and, I do. I wonder, I'm like, am I successful? Am I the complete opposite of successful? Am I my sister, she's a doctor. She's a few years younger than me. She is a full practicing physician who definitely makes more money than me. Yeah, she busts her ass every day, but she seems happy. She's helps people. Maybe I should have done that. Maybe I should have become a chiropractor. I don't know. Maybe I've done it all wrong, or maybe I'm just on the cusp of realizing that I've actually just done it all right. Or maybe there's just you're just never going to figure it out one way or another. And maybe those people who are, getting up at 6 a.m. every morning, putting on their nice suits, getting to the office for 7:45 and working till 6 p.m. in those big, tall buildings. Maybe they don't care that they're making $350 a year and, they do have a house and they, fly business class on business trips and et cetera, right? So maybe there's just no answer to this question. I don't know.
Well, I can certainly tell you that when I was in a corporate building, wearing a suit every day, a woman's suit, a power suit, but a suit nonetheless, with pantyhose and heels, doing the rat race, fighting through frickin' traffic there and back, a drive that should have taken me 10 minutes took me an hour, or fighting my way onto the frickin' subway, because, only one or two people can get on each train. I can tell you that I would look around wondering, who are all these people that are not going there? Who are all these people in the middle of the day who are walking around downtown not wearing a suit? What are they doing? And I
sometimes walking around downtown in the middle of the day being like, what am I doing walking around downtown in the middle of the day? It's the freaking middle of the day. People are all around me, getting shit done, contributing to the world. And here I am walking, taking the long route to go to the gym at 12 o'clock in the day, enjoying my coffee. It's yeah, that's great, but is that selfish? Am I being selfish to myself, to my own potential, to my own output, to maybe my future family? Am I being selfish to society by not contributing? I don't know, but these questions definitely go through my head. Why am I not getting out of bed at 6:45 every morning? Why am I being so selfish as to allow myself to sleep until 9:15 just because I want to? Like I'm just like, and a part of it is my age. At like 36, I feel like I'm young, but I feel like I'm old, and I don't really know where I'm supposed to be in this entrepreneurial journey that I'm on. I also feel like I've been on this entrepreneurial journey for well over 10 years now. I've accomplished a lot. I've like had teams, had offices, done millions of dollars in sales, been sued, like sold my company for, multiple six figures, like done all this stuff. But at the same time, here I am 36 and I feel like I have nothing to show for it. I have a little bit of money, but it's sort of like not very much money, not enough to like really do anything with, so it's like, has it all been worth it? Was it, I look around, my peers being like, people my age or even younger, they're vice presidents, they are senior, they're like senior partners, whatever that means. And it's just like, they had a game plan 10 years ago, and they woke up every day at 6:30 a.m. and took one step closer to it. And now they're 36 years old, and they're senior partners, and they've got 2 kids. And I'm not saying that's what I want, but I'm like, I find myself questioning whether or not I've taken the right path, or if I've totally just sold myself short by doing what I'm doing. That's like, why did I choose to like run an online business? Well, is it because I want the freedom, or is it because I'm just like selfish and lazy and want to like wake up every day at 9:30 a.m. or 9 a.m. when like the rest of the world is getting up at 6:30 and like working their butt off? It's like, what makes me better than those people that I get to set my alarm for 9 and they have to set their alarm for 6:30? Like, do they look at me and say like, oh, that guy's just lazy, he's just a bum? I don't know. But like, these are definitely questions that go through my head and make me second guess kind of where I'm at. It's not to say that I'm like, I think where I'm at is not the right place, but I wonder, if I'm where I should be. But I guess we're all where we should be, right?
Yeah, but I think it depends on your values. Like for me, I had it both ways. So I think I haven't been doing it as long as you, but I had it the other way. I had the corporate job. So I know exactly what that's all about. And I know that what I have now feels like a freaking luxury. And someone said to me just this morning at the golf course, they said, Tanya, you're my inspiration. Like, you're living my dream life, because I did create this life where I got out of corporate. But I think for you, Mike, you've never had that experience of actually going to an office, wearing a suit, fighting through traffic, getting up at 6 a.m. every day, being told what to do, when you can go on vacation, how much vacation you can have, when you can be sick, when you can show up, when you can leave, when you can go for lunch. It feels like a prison, in my opinion. Like you're a prisoner.
Yeah, there's a certain, there's almost a certain calmness in being a prisoner. You know what I mean? Because
maybe you don't have any decisions to
it's
make.
sort of like
There's no responsibility.
It's like if you're in prison, it's like you're going to get 3 meals a day, so at least you don't have to worry about getting fed.
And like a warm place to sleep, maybe hard and warm, but
and it's like, obviously a prison is like, but like there's different levels of prison. It's like, you work a nice, work a good job that, you've spent 10 years getting there. You're making, $200,000, $300,000. It's like,
which by the way, most people don't, Mike.
Maybe I'm just in my head envisioning that everyone's making like...
Yeah, most people don't make $200,000 to $300,000 at their job. Just so we're clear, most people are making around 50.
Well, I think part of the reason is I go to the gym downtown in the middle of like the corporate universe.
That is easily the most expensive gym in the entire area of downtown.
So I just see all these well-to-do suits, and I just assume that everyone there is making multiple six figures and living this like.
I also think though that, yeah, but that's how it looks on the outside. And we know that the outside is never what's really happening. That they like more money, more problems. Like they could have like so much debt. They could have school debt to get to that position. They could have like they could be spending so much money on their dry cleaning or their clothes or their car just to like keep up with the Joneses. Like who knows like what their finances are.
Yeah.
Recreational things. Like I was spending money on like going out and drinking and like partying because like your life is so you have to like play hard and fast because you have very little time.
Yeah. So maybe those same people are like, did I do it? Did I, they're having the same struggles.
Oh, for sure. The grass isn't always greener. I always think about it like this, like your grass would be greener if you just watered it. Like if there's something in your life right now, Mike, that like you look to other people, like maybe you want to get up and wear a suit every day and maybe you want to wake up at 6 a.m. And like, why not try that for a little while? Pretend that you do have a boss. Go into your office. You do have a place where you go for your office. So go in there and see how you like it. I mean, you won't have a boss telling you what to do, but it's not as magical. I mean, certainly you're not going to have like a paycheck, someone else paying you a paycheck. But I mean, I think like if you maybe it's worth trying it out, see if you like it.
I probably won't do that, but
I mean, it's not that fun, in my opinion. Like, I think that what we are living is the dream. But again, I had the other experience. So I think that it just always seems easier when you see someone else's life. Like, it'd be easier. I definitely think that all the time as being an entrepreneur. I wish someone else would make the decisions. I wish that it wasn't all my responsibility. I wish that I could take vacation and not check my email. I wish that, like, nobody would ask me for anything for, like, a whole week. Like, that would be just so wonderful. If like someone else could take over while I'm on vacation. But I think that there are pros and cons.
I know this sounds like really, really out there, but I really, like, I don't know, I keep saying my age, but I feel like the last few years I've really sort of reflecting on where I'm at. Because it's sort of like a midpoint, 35, 36. It's a little bit of a midpoint between, 20 and 50. So you're like, all right. But like, I'm really struggling with like what the purpose of it all is. Like, is my purpose to rack up money and like, consume, and not just consume, but it's true. You rack up money, you can help other people, you can donate to charity, you can, do that. Or is it like, is like serenity like the goal? Is like connection the goal? Like, really, what is the goal? Because kind of have to figure out what the purpose is before you can really engineer that outcome. And I guess part of my like struggles right now as an entrepreneur is I'm like, really, what is the purpose? I don't know what this ultimate outcome I'm trying to get is. And therefore, like, engineering it is proving to be a challenge. And I find myself wavering from like, should I do this? Should I like, should I run my business that way? Should I like do this in my business? Like, I don't really know.
I think it depends on like, what is like the legacy you want to leave? Like, what is it? How do you want to leave the planet? Like, I personally like would like to leave it a little bit better than I found it. Like, if I can change someone's life or the world's life in some way, like that would make my life, if like I'm one little ant on this planet. But if I can leave it a little bit better, if I can have an impact that betters the world, then that's all that I care about.
And I think that, like, when I remind myself, like, whenever I'm, like, kind of, when I tell myself, I'm like, look, it's not about you. When you make it about you, that is, like, a recipe for just kind of feeling depressed because there's really, you're just trying to find it from within. When you try and quantify your purpose, your happiness, your contribution from from outside of yourself, it does begin to be a little bit easier to kind of make sense of it all and be like, I'm not here for myself, so I should stop like thinking in terms that are very egocentric. And be like, all right, well, if I get up today and then run my business and do what I'm doing and someone else benefits from it, then I guess at the end of the day, I can close my eyes and, it doesn't matter what other people are doing. It doesn't matter how much some corporate person is making down the road. If I help someone and someone, contributed and left a little bit of a legacy today, then, I guess that's fine with me.
Is that what you want with your life? Like, what do you want your life to be about?
That's what I'm saying. I don't know. I don't know what my life is supposed to be about. And that's why this whole life thing is challenging. And when I say life thing, I mean business and entrepreneurship. And it's like, why am I doing what I'm doing? What's the eventual outcome of this? Is it like, do I want to run my business so I can make money and have a family and pay my bills and fly first class and,
I think it's hard to feel connected to things personally. For me, it's about experiences and people and definitely connection, like you said. But things, expensive things, luxurious things don't make me happy. Connections and experiences and service make me happy. That's what makes me feel fulfilled. That's what gives me purpose.
The thing is that we live in a society where things really are the markers, and it's easy to compare yourself to others. Not necessarily that person has a more expensive watch than I do, but more just markers of progress. That person has this, therefore they must have made more progress. And that's a very narrow way of marking progress, but it's an easy trap to fall into. And it can lead to some rabbit holes of self-reflection where you really are is this kind of, am I on the right path? Is it is this business that I'm investing so much time and soul into, is it really worth it? I don't know. But it's just part of the entrepreneurial struggle.
I think it's really reflecting and journaling, I would say, Mike, to figure out what would make your life feel purposeful. What do you value? What do you care about? What makes you feel fulfilled or on purpose? What are your gifts? What can you add to the humanity?
So that is something that has been on my mind lately, and definitely talking about it, putting it out there in the podcast, and if anyone out there is listening and can relate, definitely send us a message and share your thoughts.
And that's a wrap on another episode of How We Hustle. For more information, check out howwehustlepodcast.com.